picture of this because I don't want to have to keep opening my browser for this. I'm currently using my other keyboard in order to do this because I don't know what these keys are. This is layer 1, and then this is layer 2, and layer 3 doesn't have anything that's that important. So let's do this. Oh wait, layer 0 I meant. And here's layer 1. Okay, cool. Let's just memorize this. Alright, so let's see. Windows key 3. Then I forgot where control is. Oh no. Alright, controls are there. Yeah. Productivity minus 200%. Well, yeah, I'm gonna try to use this for a little bit. We'll see how this works. Okay, so controls are here. So we need to. Oh God. Hey Skadog. Hey Marco. Yeah, and I hope this can show in the keyboard camera. Yeah. So edit com today. Ta-da. So it is Thursday. Adam is doing part 2 of man versus to do. Alright, so let's control shift tab our way back to here and then go get this image. Whoops. Alright, this is gonna be really, really tough for me to do. That's up. So we need to find right. There's probably a better way to do this without manipulating my hand in such a weird way. This is going to be painful. I'll probably stop this after like, I don't know, 20 minutes. But I do need to practice this at some point. Alright. Okay, yeah, this is pretty bad. This may be even worse than Adam versus UI. Please save us all the hassle of watching. Okay, fine. If people don't want this, then I'll give people what they want. So much for that. Maybe someday. So Adam does part 2 of Man vs. To Do, where he tackles his to-do list and just tries to remove as many lines as possible. So how many do we have? 1,477 today. It's starting at 1,400, well, it started at 1,477 lines. Well, maybe someday. Yeah, I definitely need to improve my just basic proficiency at that keyboard. At least you tried. Yep. Alright. Plotland will not be online today. This will also be a shorter stream than normal. Probably what, 2 to 3 hours? Now, despite that Botland won't be online, I am still going to run it locally in case there's anything quick that I need to test with it. So let's just kick this off. So file hardware and chip ideas from this note into the Excel sheet that I have. Yeah, so I've been writing down some hardware ideas every once in a while and some chip ideas. I gotta make sure that I take all of these off of this list. So they're all these ones. And do we have these anywhere else? Do I mention hardware somewhere else? Add to an idea list somewhere. No, that's not it. Okay. There's another one. Anywhere else? Update hardware stats in the wiki. That's already done. Yeah, that's it for that. What's the reason for not putting Botland online? Well, I could put yesterday's version online, or I could try to publish the new one where I redesigned a whole bunch of stuff. But, yeah. Better Twitch TV does this. Hang on a second. I gotta remove the parenthesis. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, let's go file this. So I have the hardware list here. Also, I got to take this off screen for just a second. I got to make sure, I don't know if this is public or not. No, it's not. It doesn't really matter if it's public or not because I'm showing it on my screen, but still. How does it hurt to leave the server on when not streaming? It costs money, Marco. And also, well, it's mostly that it costs money. So this is one of the things that's described in the FAQ. Why isn't the game online? So one is that I don't want people sharing it widely yet, and if it's online at all times, then people can just say, oh, hey, check this out, Reddit. Whereas right now you can't do that because most of the time it's not online. And then, yeah, it costs money. And the third thing is setting it up today. I could do that. It wouldn't take me too terribly long, but it would be about 10 minutes out of the stream for, what, a 2 or 3 hour stream? So I'd rather not. Nick uses that keyboard, but he's been using it for a long time. Yeah, I think getting used to anything new is the hard part. Usually using the new thing afterward isn't that bad. There will be some things that are different, definitely. The problem is that I have been using this keyboard for so long that all of the different shortcuts that I use, like Control N, for example, I'm used to doing them with a certain hand, so my right hand in this case, or a combination of right and left hand, and I know where to move my hands. On this other keyboard, I need to relearn all of that stuff. It's not paid monthly. No, it's paid hourly. Idea thanks to moi. Why did I write this? Okay, well, let's write this stuff down. So where's armor? Hey, Super Ram. Here's armor. So you want to insert a row below. Call this your bot starts with plus 500 max health, but only starts with 66% of its full life. All right. Now, I was thinking about some stuff yesterday. I think that in general, this is going to be true. I think, hey, why not? How's it going? I think that defenders will get more interesting stuff because they can't exploit them as easily. So it's just something to keep in mind here. Actually, I should move this down to here for when I file this particular note. Okay. So is flamethrower on this list? Flamethrower, yeah. Okay. Consider a zapper that leaves a landmine in its wake when it dies. Yeah, we don't have this here. Wait, when it dies? When zapper is deactivated, lay a landmine. Consider adding a reflect shield that reflects artillery but not lasers or missiles. This is probably ridiculous, but I'm going to write it down as an idea at least. Hey, pawn. Percent chance to reflect artillery but not missiles or lasers. Only usable on self. Consider having stun in general either have diminishing returns for non-consecutive stuns, that way 1v1s aren't in balance, or apply the lower attack speed debuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still not sure which one I want to go with. Okay, we'll just write that down there for now. Alright, explosive armor. When this bot dies, it damages all nearby enemies. Where is armor? Here it is. When this bot dies, it deals damage to all nearby enemies. Extra long range teleport. Interesting. Well, this is probably not scalable actually, but whatever. Can you set that image as the botland banner image, please? Long range teleport that incurs a cooldown. Immediately after using. And then what else did I say? Probably wipes out cloak. Removes most buffs. E.g. cloaking, reflect, etc. I'll just write that as a note. I'm actually not totally sure how I want this to work. Note, due to the cooldown. Oh, I see. That's why. Removes cloaking upon teleporting. The reason why cloaking is removed is so that you don't negate the downside completely. Setting up a new project here at work, and I was thinking at some point maybe you should set up something like Husky for linting and tests. Works great with GUI too, like Tortoise. Well, Hideo was trying to increase the size of our list. Anyway, thanks. I'll write that down. So I think a good part would be one that forces an enemy to attack if it's in range. This is like a taunt part. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Hamta. Enemies in range that can attack this bot will attack this bot. E.g. fire lasers won't hit this unless it's possible. Hey, Jew. Okay, one that forces enemy to attack, yeah. So hybrid hardware that does something based on a number that you pass it. For example, area repair could do more healing for a longer cooldown. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. What is other things? Alright, I'm just going to delete this. Should thrusters just be armor? I think the answer is no, because why would I care that much? But we'll get back to this. So I'm going to say... Yeah, I might as well write this idea down. I want to make sure we've got everything here. Where are landmines? I don't even see them. Hello, landmines. Teleport EMP, right there they are. Okay. Infinite landmines. These are probably not great. Alright. Thrusters that place mines somehow, or synergize at least. I've been taking vitamins. Do these have magnesium in them? Yes. 35% daily value. Nice. What do you mean is armor? Like always on the bot like sensors? Then what's the point? So we came up with these categories, and a lot of the time they're very obvious, like lasers, missiles, artillery. And the reason there are categories for things, so regular lasers are here, vampiric lasers are here, stunning lasers are here, and whatever the other one, infernal lasers, is so that you can't use this hardware with another one And the reason for that is because when you call fire lasers, there shouldn't be any confusion. So, okay, that makes sense because these all correlate with an API call that you have to make. But then there's a category armor. And really, what makes something armor? It's really a passive buff. So things that fit into this are armor, damage reduction, regen, life regeneration, thrusters, movement speed, and maybe some other things. And the category here is just passive buff. So if we made them all into a category, what that would mean is you can't equip any two of these at once. So things like armor and regen couldn't be combined. So the question is that important? There are probably some of these that shouldn't be combined. Not any of the three I listed here. These are all pretty innocuous. But maybe there's something in the future where it's like there's an evade chance and there's a chance to, I don't know. Anyway. You need 500 milligrams? How much does this say? 140. Yeah. Hey, Tasokan. Oh no, yeah. It wouldn't be passive as in you don't even need to include it. It would be passive as in you need to equip it and then it just does its effect. So anyway, we'll write this one down too. Also, Google Sheets shortcuts. How do you add a row? PC shortcuts. Row. Insert row below. Alt. I don't know if that's an I or an L. Probably an I. Alt I, then W. Let's try that out. That did not seem to work. What? In Google Chrome, what is this letter? It's an I, yeah. In other browsers, Alt Shift I, then W. Well, neither one of those seem to work. Yeah, what? Am I doing something wrong here? Huh. Okay, well, I don't know how to do that. Oh man, noob. Also high. Alright, well, what was the idea? Thrusters that place mines. Synergy with landmines thrusters. Thrusters that either place mines or synergize with them somehow. I'm going to leave this even for just half-baked ideas that I have. So somewhere here I want to write some... What is this? I want to write some design philosophy stuff. Also cut hardware. We should probably look through this at some point. Yeah. So let's make a couple of new sheets here. We'll call this one design philosophy. Design notes. Probably just that. Try Control Alt I then W. Okay, it's still not working. Maybe keep Alt and Shift pressed. You need Shift for this too? No, what? None of these seem to work. I don't understand what I need to do for this to work. Maybe the row has to be marked? But that'd be kind of dumb. I have no idea how you're supposed to do this. Alt Shift I W. Just tested mine and it opens the menu with Alt I. Oh, I see. I need this menu expanded probably. And the reason I don't do that is because... Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Thank you, Lepko. Yeah, then I know what's going on here. This is the same thing that happens when you press like Alt F and then A. It just happens to go to save as because F has an underscore under that and then A is an underscore under save as. But since I don't have the menu expanded, it just does nothing. So I didn't realize, okay. Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, because when I expand this, it shows my email address, which I don't really care too much if you guys have, but still, I'd rather just not do that. But thanks. Okay, so some design notes. I really just want to merge all this stuff, I think. So one is due to the design changes, it's worthwhile to look at cost hardware again to see if anything is applicable. This Excel sheet just contains hardware ideas, not necessarily hardware that should be implemented. Well, typing row, what's the best way to do this? Yeah. So I can do the same thing with Alt/BE for insert row below. Or text color berry, yeah, sure, fine. Why did that happen? I hit enter, it looks like it's selecting insert row before. Oh, okay, there, whatever, fine. Row 65 berserk, no mistakes here. I will just say I did not probably write that because I know how to spell berserk. But thanks, Boy Black. Okay, so what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, most interesting / complex hardware will probably only be for defenders eventually. Infinite shield, for example, was very unbalanced. Well, it was very overpowered, I'll say, as an attacker. Hey Bears, because you could negate its downside by staying on the side of the arena. Yeah, but I didn't think I touched my mouse, Lepko. What do points do and how many do I have? Before releasing a piece of hardware, go through and come up with any combinations. So yeah, okay, so here we go. Hey Jupiter. So as far as hybrid hardware goes here, it was something that lets you pass in, yeah, this is kind of a just generic idea here. I guess I'll write that down. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Okay, so we'll just put this here. Alright, done. Extra long range EMP. This is actually pretty cool. I like this. Long range EMP. You'll lose your next turn. Lasts as a debuff on the target for several turns, even if the hardware isn't used. Alright, Jupiter suggests a sprint ability lets you move 2 tiles at once. I think this would probably end up being for attackers, and it would probably have to only move you 2 tiles at once. Yeah, I still need to figure out the whole sprint versus thrusters thing. Maybe another way that this could be done. Let me try something really fast. Let's go into bot land. I just want to, this is going to look really weird. So I need to make bots with thrusters here. And we're going to give them melee. And I'm just going to hit update and save this. Except for I can't do that because I need to put down a million other bots. Let's just do this on a different character then. And by character I mean account. Try this out. Yeah, great. So let's put down several bots. There. We'll give them melee and thrusters. There. We save that. And now I want to in the code execution system, when we figure out the cooldown of something, so if this dot active bot real ID equals 2, we'll say global cooldown buff amount equals 0.7. Oh, it's read only. All right, there we go. So what this is going to do is it's going to make one of my bots go really, really fast. And this is for the sake of testing something, but this might not be a great idea. Yeah, so you can see this bot is just flying around, and then it died. But it gives me an idea, which is like a haste spell. I think that could be pretty cool. I think it could also be super overpowered. But let's do this. We'll put shield on this bot, and we'll put probably regen. So the very first thing it'll do is try shielding itself. And then it'll try the figure it out for me script. So which one is the fast bot? It's this one. So we'll move this so that it's even farther away. So yeah, it's moving almost on a different timeline from all these other bots. And it goes very quickly, and then it dies. But yeah, I think a haste spell could be cool, and then maybe that's how I change sprint. Hey, Sprintman. I'm not sure exactly how it would work, though, but I think it's an interesting idea. It could be like... it could be abused by attackers, though. Messing with haste. For example, a haste shield that increases or decreases all cooldowns by X% while active. You created your own enemy. But EJ created this sweet graphic. Look at that. Why is it still doing that? God. There. Man versus TODO. Yeah. I actually really like this idea. Also, I'll write down the sprint idea. I'm just not sure how it'll be very different. Where are thrusters? Here they are. Yeah, I'm not sure how this will be very different. Move 2 tiles at a time. No, I'm not sure how this will be different from thrusters. Okay, we'll write down haste shield. Maybe a haste transfer that incurs 3 turns of cooldown, but gives the target minus 50% cooldown for 3 turns. Why is there a different keyboard? Well, I started to use that keyboard today, but it bothered everyone within about 1 minute. Okay, so where did haste shield go? Here it is. While this shield is active on a target, the target has reduced cooldowns for everything. Note, make sure this doesn't stack to ridiculous proportions. Because one of the things I could do here, again, just for the sake of testing this, I could set the cooldown amount so that this thing gets 10 turns for every other bot's 1 turn. And at that point, it's probably just insane. So let's take a look. We're going to test this out. Yeah, this bot is just zipping around, murdering everything. I didn't even see its shield. Oh, right, because it doesn't have shield on it anymore. Yeah, so we got to put shield and regen and create a new script that makes it shield itself, and then figure it out. It's so overpowered. And the other thing is, I think if I put this on, it can act even sooner. Yeah, this is ridiculous. All right. Was it super clicky or something? No, I'm just not very good at using it. That's all. All right. Well, yeah, I think something to do with haste is a good idea here. So let's write this down. That's fine. Yeah. I think it's a really cool idea. So artillery with longer than normal fire, but they can only randomly fire. I think we have that. It's like chaos artillery or something. No, we don't have it. Unless it was a cut idea. Stun artillery. No, it's not, huh? You just never wrote this down. Interesting. Hey, Spooky. Higher maximum range, or at least it can be shot outside of vision range, but only shoots randomly. Yeah, where are the notes for this one? Okay. So dodge, upon getting hit, move away from the damaging source by X tiles. I'll write it down. Move away from the damaging source by X tiles. And then same thing here, there was provoke. Upon getting hit, move the damaging source toward you, closer to you by X tiles. That is actually incredibly powerful, I think, for defenders, to the point where it probably shouldn't even be done. Is there a plan for single bot stats? Damage dealt, heal gained, etc.? You mean just collecting them? Because I could do something like that. I just don't know what they'd be used for exactly. So remote mines. This is, I think, kind of an interesting idea. I'm going to write it down. I just thought of this yesterday. Moving your bot will move all placed landmines by that bot. Not sure what should happen when two landmines are on the same tile. He actually said, I'm new here and I don't understand anything. Can you explain what you're doing? Yeah, sure. So I'm working on a game called Botland most of the time. And every time I'm streaming, and by the way, there's a video there about Botland. You can watch that whenever you want and ask any questions about that too. But anytime I'm streaming, I've got my own to-do list. And then I have this ps.txt. This is my post-stream to-do list. And this just accumulates. This has 1,463 lines. So I've been dedicating my Thursdays to just removing some lines from here. So that's what today is about. It's not a very interesting stream, to be honest, but then again, this needs to be done, and I'm more motivated to do it when I'm on stream. So mostly just, if you want a voice on in the background, then this is the stream for you. If you want to pay attention to something interesting happening, this is probably not a good day to watch. If you come back tomorrow, the game should be online, and you'll be able to try it out. So yeah, this would have to be Defender only. Also, it would have to be for Defenders only. Due to how... Actually, would it have to be? Yeah. Due to how attackers could exploit this. Also, I need to figure out whether landmines would only move when your bot actually moves, or when it just tries to. If it's when it actually moves, maybe attackers can have this and just wouldn't want it. Actually, now that I think about this, what in the world? Like, what would this do? You'd lay a landmine and then you'd move, and the landmine would move with you, and then it would never desync from you, essentially. Yeah, no, this wouldn't work. Yeah, this definitely wouldn't work. Unless you teleported, but then you need teleport and remote mines? What am I thinking? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this can be a good idea. Because even as a defender, what are you doing? You're laying a bunch of mines and then just moving them all to the side so they just advance and kill the enemy without them being able to do anything. There's no real strategy to this. Maybe there is some strategy. All right, I need to figure this out more. So perhaps you would get an API to move your mines, since if you didn't, you would only be able to place a single landmine, and it would move everywhere you did. Okay, there's like a million notes on this. Okay, loner lasers. I thought this was actually a really interesting idea. So every ally that's within this bot's vision range lowers the damage dealt by these lasers. So what that means is if you're a defender and you have all your bots clumped up like this, loner lasers is going to do basically no damage. But if you make your bots very spread out, so if you put them like this and you make them chase after the enemy, I don't know how I place these such that maybe this doesn't work or maybe it does work. But yeah, now they'll do their maximum damage, but now they're just single targets that can be picked off. So I think this is pretty cool. And I definitely want to see how it works in the game. So let's write it down. Every allied bot within your vision range lowers the damage of these lasers by 20. Cool. Crazy melee. You can attack your own CPU. All damage dealt to your own CPU is converted to a max life increase for the attacking bot. This is pretty ridiculous, but I thought of it, so I guess I'm just gonna write it down. No thoughts are bad thoughts. Crazy melee. Alright. What would the vision range be? Extreme beam. The vision range is whatever the vision range is on your bot. So it's 5 tiles by default. Actually, there's a... Let me show you this. Yeah. So this talks about what the vision range is. It's 5 tiles by default. So these two bots can see each other. And then if you call activate sensors, you can see up to 7 tiles away. So in general, this is probably better for attackers. Alright, what's this? Some kind of weapon that deals extra damage when the target has full life. This may have some strange interaction with shields. Yeah, I'll just write this down under generic ideas, because I don't really have... I'll just copy paste it. Cool. So next up is chip ideas. Hey, Strasgold. Did you decide not to go with the new account name? I don't know what this is all about. Okay, so let's go make a new one here. And we'll rename this to chip ideas, or just chips. Yeah. CPU spikes. How did I do this for the other ones? And how do you... Oh, man. Yeah, at the top. Name, description. Yeah, let's just copy paste these. A fatality. And yeah, Stratus Gold. That's what Thursdays are all about now. So, should this be melee or what? Yeah, to be honest, this probably isn't such a great idea. Maybe it'd be like return damage. I don't know. I'll write it down as an idea at the very least. Spikes. So your chips and CPU return some portion of melee damage dealt to them. Okay, cool, Stratus. Alright, maybe have some form of chip that they have to destroy in order to place bots closer to the defending CPU. Yeah, so prevent placement. Attackers can only place bots plus X tiles plus 2 tiles away from the CPU. And then I'll just make a notes section here. With several of these, it would mean that attackers can only start at the rightmost part of the arena. This could open up completely different strategies. Alright. So some status-based damage bonus. Attackers that are stunned or on fire take more damage from all sources. Any bots with no weaponry whatsoever get some kind of buff. This is interesting. So this encourages support bots. Yeah. Hey, Liquidor. Bots that die explode, but the explosions only hurt attackers, even if the attacker exploded. Oh, this is actually really interesting. Yeah, I like this. Explosive bots. All bots that die will explode. Explosions will only hurt attackers, even if it's an attacker bot that died. Okay, a chip that cloaks all of your other chips. Cloaks all other chips. This is probably underwhelming on its own because you can blind fire at chips, and also this chip will be visible. Pacifist plus shiny armor plus regen. Sounds like a cool tank. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to combine shiny armor at least. Let's see though. What is that? Enemies in range that can attack this bot will attack this bot. Yeah, that's actually, it's interesting. So these are the kinds of things, Hamza, that I think you'll try out the game and you'll be like, okay, I understand what's going on. Then as you play, you'll be playing against higher level defenders. And those higher level defenders have access to things you'll just be like, I've never even seen that before. And I've never seen this combination of stuff before. A super chip, maybe. Alright, a chip that prevents attackers from placing bots around it. So this is prevent placement 1. We want a prevent placement 2. Attackers cannot place bots within X tiles of this chip. I'm not really sure if that makes any sense. It's like, this is like a soft wall. So shiny armor is like a taunt, yeah? Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be in the game. These are just ideas that I had. Because one of the main design philosophies that I think is pretty important here is you're making a defense and attackers are attacking your defense. So I think the design needs to be such that you're making a defense that follows rules that maybe the attackers have just never seen before. So for example, I might have chips that prevent you from placing bots around all of these chips. And now what that lets me do is most players right now, they have to have all their bots around their CPU. If I prevent you from placing bots near these chips, then now I can put all of them over here, let's say. And that makes it so that you as an attacker can only place bots that are already in range of these. And that's a very different strategy. In fact, that's wholly different from all of the ones that exist right now. Except for Liquidor did something that was kind of testing this out. But, yeah. A chip that slows enemy bots around it. That can be done, but it all depends on the range of these chips. So this, for example, if we say it's, 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles away or something like that, so it's kind of like this diamond shape, then you could just attack from outside of that range. So I need to have an even longer range, and I don't know. Oh, things look a lot different now? Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, we have some explosion graphics, we got some projectile graphics. We got the sprite sheets here for the tile set. I put colors on these buttons. Did I just mention your name? Didn't hear what you said. Oh, I was talking about how almost all defenders right now are clumped up around the CPU. And you happen to come up with a defense that put your bots like down here and up here. Granted, that was very experimental. Oh, it's good, Aztec Knight. And hey. Okay, so a chip that occasionally fires infernal projectiles. Yeah. Oh man, and yeah, Liquidor, you haven't been getting much sleep to begin with, right? Okay, so there's one last thing to do. In the Botland design doc, we link to another design doc, and this one is 70 pages long and has some other ideas that I want to just take from here. So where are they? Ideas. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Oh, what? That's not it. Where's the section about tower ideas? Here they are. We probably need the concept of unique buffs that can't stack. However, this doesn't mean you can't put down two towers with a unique buff if you want redundancy. Yeah, I should write all this down. Where's the design notes? It should be able to create rule sets, essentially, by combining hardware and chips to the point where they can come up with unique defenses that attackers have never seen before. That's Tech Knight. Okay, and then as far as chips go, we probably need the concept of unique buffs that can't stack. Man, these stupid quotation marks. However, this doesn't mean that you can't put down two towers with a unique buff if you want redundancy. Alright, let's take everything from here. I think towers are a good way to give defense. So by the way, towers are just chips. And chips are things that provide some effect. So here's a socket. You have to put chips in sockets. And when you do, you get something like this. Regeneration, regen 15 life every turn. Yeah, okay. Let's write all this stuff down. So where are chips? Here we go. Tower that defend itself. Oh man, why is this copy pasting so strangely? Actually, there's probably a way to copy paste this that doesn't maintain formatting. Yeah, Control Shift V. Okay, so a tower that defends itself. I was originally against this idea. Yeah. Just write this. E.g. by shooting lasers or missiles. No, Botland's not online today. Alright, what else? A tank tower that has a lot of life. It doesn't serve to do anything other than be a decoy. Oh, man. Has tons of life. This just serves as a decoy. This has to have lots and lots of life. I think that tons of life needs to be really high for it to act as a decoy so that it wastes turns on the attacker. Maybe a shiny tank tower of bots have to attack that if they're in range. I'll write that down. Perhaps this has provoke on it so that bots have to attack it. Guys, I want to learn how to test ES6 with Mocha. Do you know any positions like software testing for dummies? Because So, Olo, yeah, there are probably some books out there. As far as Mocha itself, Mocha is pretty straightforward. So, if I were to just sum this up in a nutshell, there is, for any tests that you run, there's usually a setup, an execution, and a cleanup. And the way that Mocha abides by this is there's a before all tests function, there's a before each test function, there's an after each test, and there's an after all tests. So the before is your setup, the test itself is your execution, and the cleanup is the after part of this. So in general, you're the one who kind of needs to determine what to test. And there are different strategies. So one thing could be to go for code coverage and make sure you cover, just make sure you actually inspect the coverage of your code. So I'll show you what this is briefly. I have some coverage data here for the last test that I ran. So right at a glance, what do we notice? Well, we see a lot of red. And what that red means is that I'm not really testing a lot of these files. So if I go into here, I can see, whoa, look at this, game state. I tested about 90% of this. And I could take a look and see, oh, I'm just not testing the serialize function. Okay, looks good. Like I know that this works, or maybe I want to test this. So what code coverage lets you do is not necessarily feel good that you've tested 80% of your code, but know where you might have gaps. And so that can let you direct your testing effort somewhere else. So here I tested, I think 50%. So we should see some large red blocks. Yeah, like this. I would say, whoa, I never tested the add function. That could have bugs in it. And let me make sure to test it and all the if statements in it. So that's one way you can do it. Another way is just what are the most used scenarios in whatever application you're doing. So maybe you're writing Facebook, and maybe posting on someone's wall is just the most common thing. So you really want to make sure that scenario works well. So you test like, what if I try posting a really, really long post? What if I try posting something that is an image that is a large file size? Those sorts of things. And then there's other things like security testing and whatever else. That's slightly different though. How did tank appear to the attacker? Like with another random chip name? No, it would just show up as tank chip. And for the people who don't write special code, they could just avoid it if they wanted to. But chances are, like what this serves to do, and why this is just an idea, this serves to throw off attackers. So this like, killer everything strategy that I have, where I've got something like this here, and it knows how to kill who knows what, like chips at one point. Like you would need to suspend that AI for a second. So you say find enemy anything, and you just try attacking it, and same thing up here. This just tries hitting a chip if it can. Well, if it finds that tank chip, then yeah, it's going to get distracted doing that. Chip reverser and scrambler makes any nearby enemy bot do everything reversed. EMP chip. Yeah, good ideas. Chip freeze. Yeah, this is perhaps a little too powerful, but I'll write this down at least. Neutral sheep bots you can capture and use as scouts. All right, where did I leave off here? Also note that in general, this just forces attackers to change their code so that they ignore this chip. It doesn't do much else. Did I look at your message? What, this message? No one wants to do my biology homework for me? Mind control of attack? No, that's definitely too much. Resurrect a friendly chip would be cool. Yeah, that could be interesting. Hey, Vito. Stratus, I'm not sure what you're getting at. An anagram of decoy. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you mean the name of this? Oh, for what to put as a name? Yeah, okay. No, 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 no. These are not the final names. These are just something to refer to these ideas. When it finally makes it into the game, then yeah, that's when I'll come up with a name for it. All right, I was confused there for a second, Stratus. Thank you for clarifying. All right. Hardware modifications. I don't really care about this right now. Oh yeah, actually no. These are tons of the chips. Generic idea, hardware buffs. This is like increase artillery splash damage, increase artillery splash radius, increase missile damage, increase missile radius. Sure. Alright, what else? We could also perform hardware modifications. Yeah. So this is generic idea, hardware debuffs, e.g. decrease laser damage for attackers. What else? Oh yeah, this should be... Note, if I pursue this idea, I should deem it as a buff for defenders. Take less damage. Sorry, I should scroll up so you can see this. Oh, that doesn't work. Take less damage from artillery rather than as a debuff for attackers. Deal less damage with artillery. Decoy hardware, clone bot slash self with 100 life of bot or something. Super chip hides your hardware. Is that a background, noob? Or is that your desktop coming through and Discord is really transparent? Because I can't tell. Yeah, no, it is your background. Yeah, I don't know. Transparency effects are kind of polarizing sometimes. With that said, I think it looks pretty good. I'm not sure if I want transparency on Discord. Maybe. Super chip is trademarked. Alright, what else do we have here? Friendly bots within X range are cloaked. So this would go here. Bot cloaking. Friendly bots within X tiles are cloaked. Enemy bots within X range are lit on fire. I don't know about this. It would definitely be interesting. I'll just write this. Fiery chip. Attackers within X tiles are ignited. Actually, this is interesting. I do like this idea. This is like anti-cloaking. Spy bot can pretend to be an enemy bot, meleeing an enemy team. How about sheep bot? Plays Age of Empires for you. Level 10, your CPU can have one hardware. If your CPU had hardware though, you'd want it to have scripts. And I don't want to do that. Because I think that really complicates the UI just for like one side idea. Your CPU, oh, I like this one. CPU immunity. Your CPU is immune to damage while this chip is alive. Increase your bot's vision range. This is probably just insane. At the time of writing, hey Numers, artillery has a range of 12, but there's no way to achieve this. We probably need to tone down artillery if we're going to do something like this. CPU immunity should be on the chip that applies the immunity. Then you also know which chip has to be destroyed. Yeah. That's how this works. And by the way, as an attacker, you will see all of this stuff. So it's not like you should ever really be confused. Instead of saying regeneration, this will say CPU immunity. And it'll be like, you'll click it and it'll say, oh, the CPU is immune while this thing lives. And you'll say, well, I guess I better kill that thing first. So what you could do as a defender here is you could make 5 of those. So now they have to kill all of your chips and they have to kill the CPU. And the reason why I think that's balanced is because you're not putting down 5 of something potentially better. So you could put down 5 armor boost chips. And then that's probably better than forcing them to kill all of your chips. CPU immunity is basically just 2 CPUs on the arena. Just guard the chip. Yeah, kind of. The thing is, imagine this, Liquidor. You have your defense bots positioned like this. Also imagine instead of regeneration that's CPU immunity. So now you're like, oh, well, this is just the point I defend, right? Well, now they use artillery and they kill this. And now your bots need to know to move over to there, which granted would not be that hard to do. Hey, EnvisionNet. Haven't been seeing you as much here lately. CPU immunity can be crazy overpowered if used correctly. Well, there's one other thing we can do here, which is potentially change the life of these chips. So maybe this has less life than a normal chip, but they're just ideas for now. I'm not necessarily saying these are going to be in the game. Bots within this range have a completely different blueprint. This would be really hard to use. Yeah, I have no idea why I even wrote this. We're not going to do that. A tower that changes into a 1x3 or 3x1 configuration of walls. No, I'm not going to do that either. A tower that places fog of war so the attacker can't tell what kind of bots you have. This sounds like a good idea, but it's really not. This requires so many infrastructure changes. If it was as simple as you can't click these bots, then yeah, I would totally do it. But it's not as simple as that because people will just look at what's getting sent over the network. So I need to not send that data over the network. And it's just frustrating. A tower that hides all of your towers from the attacker during the first setup phase. The tower itself doesn't do anything else. Maybe it has slightly higher life too, so it's at least tanky. Yeah, this is again interesting, but I don't think it's worth writing. Bots within X tiles of this tower will send their damage dealt to the tower instead of... It's not damage dealt. Oh, it kind of is. This is just provoke tower, I think. Now, I think there's a better way of writing this. Bots within X tiles, so defender bots within X tiles of this tower will split their damage with the tower. So now let's write this over here. Just hide hardware. You can't do that though. You'd have to not send hardware. A lot of hacks that get written for games are games where you were given this information on the client, but you're not supposed to display it. So for example, StarCraft had a hack a while ago where you could tell the positions of all units. It's because you got sent the positions of all units, and the minimap would just cover it up, and Fog of War would cover it up. But guess what? Some enterprising individuals wrote a hack to just say, oh, well, we'll display it, even though we're not supposed to. And now the game is broken. So yeah, I would hate for that to happen where you spend real life money to get bot coin. You spend that bot coin on something like this, and then someone writes a hack that prevents your purchase from doing anything. Is it feasible to not send the hardware data? It's feasible, only for the first phase actually. So it's feasible, it's just I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, these are one-off ideas that would involve rewriting a lot of code. So yeah, I don't think it's worthwhile to do that. All right, lifelink. Defender bots within range of this chip will split damage taken with the chip. This is pretty interesting. I definitely like this idea. These are the kinds of ideas where I would elevate this to the top of the priority list because this leads to interesting strategies, I think. This chip does nothing unless your bots are near it. And if your bots are near it, then they're not defending other chips. But while they are near it, they're practically invulnerable because they're going to be splitting damage. So let's see, your own CPU is always on fire, but your bots get warm up. Oh man. This is really funny. So basically, this puts you on a timer. So now attacker strategy changes into let's just run down the timer. I think it's worth writing down, but I don't know if I'm going to do this. Swap with a bot, friendly or enemy? Oh, that's very interesting. Those are the kinds of things that I think are probably almost too powerful, but they're worth writing down at least. In Stratus, you said you always hear about people who hack big companies. How do they get access to the systems? Where do they learn it? Well, imagine this. When you go to like yourbank.com or whatever it is, you have a username and a password field, right? So it doesn't matter what language they write this in. The end result is that some network data needs to be sent over the network to see to be able to tell the server what is your username and password. So you are in communication with their server. So that's step one. Figure out what their server even is. That's not necessarily step one, by the way. And then from there, you just go on to see what are potential vulnerabilities. What are vulnerabilities that have worked on other platforms like this? So for example, are they on Windows? Do you know that? Is there some vulnerability that Windows machines have? Maybe some backdoor that you can exploit? Are they using SQL? Maybe they didn't prevent against injection attacks. Are they encrypting your password at all? Maybe there's a man-in-the-middle attack you can do so that you can be at Starbucks and just sniff other people's credentials. There's a million different things you can do, and it boils down to roughly what any other thing does, which is you practice, you get better, you notice what the patterns are, you try to find vulnerabilities. And the important thing to note about any computer security is that humans are usually the weakest link. So it's pretty easy to just call someone and tell them, hey, I am your bank. Can I have your password? It doesn't matter what kind of computer security is in place if they give it to you at that point. Well, except for two-factor auth, I guess. But then there's ways you can get around that too. You can call their cell phone company, get their SIM card. Oh, nice antimatter tape. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to write this down. Self-ignite. Your CPU is always on fire. Oops. What did I just copy? It should have been this. Make sure this can't be combined with CPU immunity. Otherwise that's too powerful, I think. Although it would take, what, 120 turns for it to die? It's actually not that much. Okay, next. EMP tower. Oh, I wrote this down already. Yeah. A chip that pulses out EMP every once in a while. Where's the other one? Turning the tower into a factory? Yeah. I'll write it down. Factory. Produces bots every once in a while with a figure it out kind of script and basic hardware. Could be interesting. Could be super buggy. Now let's write down these ideas and then we're pretty much done with this note. So that took a lot of time to just get that done. Alright, so these. Chip reverser and scrambler makes any nearby enemy bot do everything reversed. makes nearby attackers reverse their directions. Move left becomes move right, and firing directional weapons is reversed. This is probably not a good strategy. I can't imagine when I'd want to use this, but still, I'll write it down. EMP, that's fine. Chip Priest. So we'll write Resurrect. I'll say chance to resurrect another chip or potentially a bot. Decoy hardware. Write that down too. This had to be something that gets used, so just write it down at the bottom. Reviving bots if special conditions are met. The thing is, special conditions, I don't know what those would be exactly. And I also, yeah. So, and hey, simple. One of the things to consider is this. So suppose you have 10 bots, and suppose you have a potential chip that says, if at full life, revive the last bot to die and set life to 0 of self. So basically, I guess I'll say it this way. Remove self and revive the last bot to die. So here's what you're saying. You're saying I have 10 bots. As soon as one of them dies, I will still have 10 bots. Is that better than just giving all of your bots a plus 10% buff? No, probably not, because now you have 11 bots at once as opposed to 10 bots plus 1 in reserve. So having 11 at once is probably better than having one replace itself. Now, granted, I don't know how good this kind of chip would be. I just wrote plus 10%. But still, there's a balance where it's like, yeah, I could do that, but giving a buff to just all of my bots to begin with is probably way better. Decoy and clone would be in the category of clone. Yeah, that's probably true. That's interesting, but then they wouldn't destroy that chip, right? I like the idea. I think it's cool. I'm probably gonna write it down. So decoy. Let's see. Clone self with a smaller amount of life. Clone does no damage. Clone has access to only movement. In fact, would it even... No, anyway, we'll figure the specifics out. So another type of teleport, swap teleport. Do we have that written down already? No. Okay. Swap a port. Yeah, I wrote that. So swap positions with another bot, friendly or enemy. This could be crazy powerful. And no, I'm not gonna write down flying bots. Kinder surprise chip. What would we even write this as? It's probably better than a... Yeah, I don't know. Surprise. When this chip dies, a powerful bot is summoned in its wake. I don't know why attackers would even bother killing this. It's the same flavor as tank chip. Can move over other bots, can't be attacked by lasers, etc. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. That changes probably too much. Okay, so add to an idealist somewhere, probably the Giga Design doc. As people unlock more hardware and develop their defenses, the complexity of the game as an attacker will probably rise sharply. It may be a good idea to let people accumulate some retries somehow that lets them attack. So I know people in chat have suggested this idea before, and I know it sounds like, Adam, aren't you just using that idea? But I think there's a good reason for this hand door. So let's go find that. We'll go back to the ideas section. As people unlock more hardware and develop their defenses, the complexity of the game as an attacker will probably rise sharply. Maybe a good idea to let people accumulate retries somehow. Special reward that lets them attack a defender that they lost to. I need metrics on how frequently, and also you wouldn't be able to use 2 in a row. Yeah. Maybe when the factory dies, it creates the surprise bot. That way the attacker has to choose if they want to deal with the factory kicking out a bunch of less powerful bots. Yeah, that can be interesting, but I think the issue there is that chips aren't supposed to be so powerful. And if the factory had any sort of... if it had any sort of utility to begin with... Anyway, I will write this down. Because I appreciate that idea. Perhaps this is a... deal with the weakling bots that come out of it, or they get one strong bot to fight. Yeah, no. What Skadog is saying is this particular chip produces bots every once in a while that has basic hardware. So what I was thinking of for this is, so there's a factory chip, and it gives you like a lasers level 1 bot that has a really basic script, and it probably only produces one of these at a time. So if it dies, it maybe produces it again, and maybe lower life. So like 500 life, dies in 1 hit, deals whatever 200 damage. So this is relatively weak, but hey, it absorbs a damage, an attack, and it does some damage. So cool. And then what Skadog was saying is, what happens if this dies and it summons a lasers level 3 bot that has 1,000 life? So not crazy, right? Like it does 400 damage instead of 200, and it has slightly more life. But your chip is now dead and will stop producing bots. Yeah, pawn, that is what I'm doing here. So you got a cloak on the roadmap that auto-enables when taking damage. How about a shield that auto-enables? Do I have that? I have re-raise shield. Dying with this active will put you at X% life instead of death. Has a time to live of maybe 10 turns and a cooldown afterward of maybe 20 turns. Does not absorb damage, only usable on self. Yeah, so this was a proactive idea that you were talking about, Liquidor. So you'd have to use this before you die. And then if you die with this, then you'll be revived. As opposed to a shield that just revives you. I think I'd rather have you have to do it. Optimization idea to run a figure it out script, not sandbox. What do you mean, Superman? Oh. Yeah, that's already the case. Well, it's mostly the case. Interesting. I'll write that down. I don't actually know. You know what? No, this is put into the global scope and everything. It'd probably involve changing almost everything. Chip the rewards coins. Actually, you know what? I thought about things like that. I'll write down the idea, but I don't think I like it because it's very exploitable. Does nothing other than provide the defender with +1 bot coin if it survives the match and the defender wins. Note, I would need to cap how much you earn per day via greed chips. Yeah. Hey, this is how this works, okay? Alright, so Spurman linked to this on test-driven repair. For easy test writing, IO should be pluggable. IO should be at the bottom of the call stack. Top of the call stack should consist of pure functions of simple objects with localized state. So what's the likelihood of me watching this video? 42 minutes. All right, this will be the one thing that I do today, I guess, that I take as far as videos go. What about this? The interview between the handmade hero guy. What did that just do? This is an hour and 12 minutes. EJ, is this worth watching? Everyone would use greed chips then? But they wouldn't necessarily, right? Greed chips don't do anything else. All they do is they have a chance to give you more money. So if you want a chance at actually winning, then you'd probably need to use any of these other ones. Hey, Voice of Grog. We've been thinking about ideas for chips, CPU, and bots. How about the environment and our arena? That I'd like to limit, Liquidor, because there are already going to be walls and pits. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on as far as what you're doing as an attacker. And there's no reason why chips can't affect the environment. They could do something like there's napalm all around this chip or something along those lines. What about an option to watch a random / from a selected skill range game with the idea to learn other people's strategy? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I had a long conversation with Nucleon John about this. And in general, my question would be, what's the big benefit here? And so you wrote the idea is to learn other people's strategy. Why not just attack people to learn other people's strategies? I think this is strictly better because this opens it up to exploitability. If you're rank number 2 in the game and you want to just watch a game against another player and you happen to see the rank number 1 player and now you learn how to beat them, like that's kind of cheap. But if you were to just attack the rank number 1 player and try to beat them yourself, then there's actually something on the line. The names can be changed to user A and user B. Yeah, we talked about this the other day, though. There are more identifying factors than just user A and user B. For one, you will have custom colors, and players will probably learn other players' colors if they face them enough times. The other thing is you can have custom cosmetics. So when I'm the only guy in the game who has all of my bots looking like Dracula or something, it's going to be pretty obvious who I am, even if my name isn't showing. And the third thing is, even if we obfuscated all of that, so they all look like black and white default bots, their positions can still give it away. So I don't think it's a good idea. But Endoran, in general, I don't think you gain anything from it. Like, if your goal is to just see other people's strategies, you can do the exact same thing by just clicking the attack button. The only thing is, now there's something on the line. So I think this is a much better way of doing things. You have a sensor chip or something that gives range to your bots? Yeah, I do. I wrote that down over here. Where is it? Vision increases your bot's vision range. Try to harass the streamer button. Okay, I'm not going to watch this. Let's just remove it. By the way, I want to remind everyone the 4 Ds: do, drop, delegate, and defer. If you're ever going through your own to-do list, remember that these are the only 4 possible things you can do to handle something. There's either you're going to do it or you're not. Or actually, rather, this thing is going to get done or it's not. So that's this first choice. The task will get done. If it's going to get done, then it's either you're doing it now, you're giving it to someone else to do, and then they follow the same pattern, or you're doing it later. And then there's the task will not get done. So this is not earth-shattering by any means, but it's good to keep this in mind because knowing that I can't delegate any of these things, like watch this video. I'm not going to send it to you guys to watch and like sum it up for me. So I can't delegate this stuff, so it's either do now, do later, or don't do it. So I think it's worthwhile to just drop things sometimes. All right, backup postman again. Yeah, I got to do that off stream though. EnvisionNet, link this to me to listen. What is this? Extended lyric video. No, I'm not gonna watch this. Sorry, EnvisionNet. Isn't defer kind of weird though? No, it's not. Actually, that happens a lot of the time, right? Where it's like, I have a to-do list that I need to do off stream. All I'm really doing is deferring it. Hey, Gert. Maldian linked this about React and styles. Inline styles, themes, media queries, context, and when it's best to use CSS. This is probably worth going through. Yeah, Radium. I remember seeing that. I'm probably not going to do this though. InvisionNet link to this. What is this? This video is unavailable. That's great. Oh, I see. This entire stream is dedicated to deferring things to do later by copy pasting them to other documents. That's not true. I think there's a certain organization that I should follow, and I have these design documents, and a lot of them are public, so it is doing something. Yeah, this I'm just gonna delete. Putting these things on GitHub, I do want to do at some point, but that's gonna be like its own entire stream. Add to notes. This is a good way of changing document title in single page apps. What is this? Declarative nested stateful isomorphic document dot title for React. I don't think I'm going to need this. But out of curiosity, let's just look at their code. Okay. Oh, done. Post the new recap to the Botland subreddit. Nope. Reinstall Firefox. I did this. It didn't do anything. Hey, Surfing Ninjas. Okay, consider doing OAuth before launch since it will decrease the time to register and play greatly for some people. Yeah, I'm going to delete this. Claim a reward every day that you log in. The reward gets better, but you don't lose progress. Deleting that too. Add to notes placehold.it. Oh yeah, this is actually a pretty cool website. So if you ever need an image, but you don't care what the image is. So let's say I'm testing a logo on Botland, and I'm like, okay, I need an image tag. So we're going to do this. Image source equals placehold.it. I don't know where this is going to show up on Botland, but let's try it out. Yeah, it's probably off the page somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, I don't know where that went. Anyway, whatever. It just puts this in. So an image that shows literally what you see here. This is not text. So this is pretty cool. I think it's worth noting this down somewhere else. Also, you should use React Helmet for that. I probably don't ever need to touch the document title though. Document head manager, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna need this. Can GitHub store unlimited data? Like, is there a limit to how much space you can have? I don't know if they put limits on it. It's supposed to just be code that you're storing. So if they notice that you're going above a certain limit, they're probably like, let's search this for images, or if you're using this as just cloud storage. But yeah, I don't know. Lorem Pixel if you want actual photos. Oh yeah, neat. Okay. So let's write these down somewhere else. Not sure where. Placeholder images. If you want placeholder images of particular sizes, there are some helpful services. Images are just pictures of text, e.g. 950 by 440. Images are real images. Wouldn't even recommend it. I mean, I'm probably never going to use this stuff ever again. but at least I've got it. Okay. Oh, there's also place kitten. For all your kitten pictures, which apparently it doesn't even work anymore. Okay. Look at these for icons. I'm using material design. What's the target blank vulnerability? I'll just link you to this document. It's actually pretty cool, Winnie. Yanni. If you ever need to make mock-ups in wireframes, pencil, build with Electron. Yeah. I think I should just stop writing certain things down. Width and height do kind of the same though, doesn't it? Axisic, I think this is more along the lines of if you want your page to look like I can't come up with a great example here, but let's say I knew I wanted bots here and I didn't know what size they'd be. So, and I don't want it to look stretched. I might use one of these sites that just comes up with a picture of a kitten here. And that way I could kind of envision what this would look like. Alright, icomoon.io. What is this? Icon fonts, icon packs. Oh, this has a piece of bread. This changes everything. Learn more. How many bread icons do they have? They don't list that as one of their bullet points. We're not going to use this. And then Font Awesome, which I think a lot of people use. How much bread do they have? What is this? Pre-orders. Search icons, bread. Can't use it. Just can't use it. Actually, so out of curiosity, what are some ones that I actually wanted to use? Yeah, Shield. This is probably where Jason got his from. Is this rounded? It's actually very hard to tell. Yeah, it is rounded. Yeah, this is probably where Jason got his from then. Because this is what the UI documents have. If I look at Edit Defense, it's that same shield icon, right? It's white on the left, black on the right. Yeah. Well, that's reversed, but same general thing. I changed the font color. I don't think it matters. I think we'll have actual art in the game at some point for even those icons. That probably doesn't matter. Do you know where around the X-frame options header whenever you load a website in an iframe? No, I don't. What's the name of the site with the shield? It's Font Awesome. Okay, we're going to delete these. UI notes. Is there always a bot selected in the blueprints page? Yes, so we got rid of that. How do you create a brand new bot? Sorry, I wasn't clear. Handle it like this. Yeah, that's no longer there. MCS Mike linked this. This probably doesn't even resolve anymore. Yeah. Well, we could try to figure out what VOD this went to, but I don't really care. Alright, read more into this. 10 coding practices which allows NASA to write. Don't use go-to statements. I can't even use those in JavaScript. All loops must have fixed upper bound. Do not use dynamic memory allocation. So I think this is pretty good. NASA actually has JavaScript style guides as well. And they allow you to use more lines per function in there, I think. The assertion density of the code should average to a minimum of 2 assertions per function. Seems relatively arbitrary. Let's read on. Assertions are used to check for anomalous conditions that should never happen in real-life executions. Assertions must always be side effect free and should be defined as Boolean tests. Yeah, we're not going to be as strict about this, but I still think it's worth at least refreshing my memory on what these are and then deleting this from my to-do list. Smallest possible level of scope. I guess what they're talking about there is in the innermost scope. which is fine. Return value of non-void function must be checked by each calling function. Yeah, a lot of argument handling, error handling. Use of preprocessor, I don't even have that. Use of pointer should be restricted, don't really have that. All code must be compiled. Yeah, okay. Can you link the NASA thing? Yeah, sure. It's not like Botland will work in orbit or on Mars. That's what you think. Look into Hayaku bundle for simplifying the typing of CSS in Sublime or Emmet. I don't really think I'm going to use either of these. Yeah, I don't really care about this. You don't need to remember abbreviations and use cheat sheets. You just write any way you like, and it'll guess what you need. Fast values. Actually, this sounds kind of interesting. This is a Sublime extension. Let's try it out. Install Hayaku. Increment and decrement numeric values. That's actually pretty cool. Try it right there. That doesn't work. Okay, let's close out of this and re-enter it. I can help you with some sprites to the game. I'm an animator. Well, thanks, Ignacio, but I don't think I'm going to need that. We do have artists already working on this. Use Emmet. But Emmet is a different language, isn't it? It's not just a plugin. Oh, it is a plugin. Oh. Well, let me try this out anyway. So if we go into like news.less, so background color. So if I just typed like background color white and hit tab, it doesn't do anything. Do I need a colon there? Yeah, okay, that works. So I just needed a colon. So I can say like bg col colon white and hit tab. That actually is pretty nice. Watch demo. Oh, yep, okay. Yeah, for expanding HTML, I don't care about. At least I don't think I care about it. Where's the CSS example? Customizable HTML from CSS. We could just try it. Emmet is a whole other thing you have to learn, though. Well, this, at the very least, seems like it's pretty decent. If I want to say, like, border radius 1 px solid black. I didn't know if it would figure out what I wanted by that. Apparently not. 1 px solid black. That tabbing didn't really work. Well, I could at least use it to do something like this. And even then, this is probably a bad idea. Because it's going to give me these, which Webpack is doing for me. Better off just getting CSS autocomplete and type head. The thing is, I already have CSS autocomplete. If I type, what is it, pointer? Oh, it's not going to work because I have this Hayaku enabled. Yeah, okay, let's just uninstall this. Remove? Yeah, remove. Okay, so if I type pointer, yeah, it does have autocomplete here, and I start to type cursor, and it doesn't know that one, but it knows a decent amount of them. Anyway, that's fine. Let's get rid of that. Alright, so my first choice would be that the tiers align with the open slots themselves. I'll mock this up for you soon, but it'll probably be a bit tricky to code and can certainly wait. In the meantime, yes, if it's a simple fix, it'd be better to have this centered over the entire. Wow, some work is going to need to be done on this UI. Yeah. Wow, pawn. That's 3 in a row. First, you said, well, you said a lot of things. Said a lot of mean things, Pawn. Alright, I'll be finding a way to mark the non-scalable hardware as such in the UI, so you'll know before you drag it what to expect. It should work the same way as scalable hardware, though. Only one slot size will be available when you select to drag over. Yeah. This needs to be fixed. I'll just think about this later. Watch this on No Man's Sky. Does this even still exist? I'm not gonna watch this now. I just want to see if it exists. 17 minutes of gameplay. Oh, this is before the game came out and everyone was hyped about it. This is like a year ago. Yep, delete. Hey, Resfriado. I saw your username on Botland. It's like roll it or something, right? I chuckled when I saw that. Alright, this is Horforia's code for a long time ago. I still think this is a very funny thing that Horforia wrote, and I can't totally tell if it's tongue-in-cheek or not. But anyway. Yeah. I will put this into my new Spirit of Botland. Okay. Rolls free auto. I have no time. Okay, so look into something like Chatty. We were talking about this a while ago. I think Hideo uses this, or said he likes it at least. The thing is, what I really needed were just chat logs, which I think this gives you. Chat log. Well, it's not exactly what I would want. But I do have MCS Mike's chat logs page specifically for my chat. Look at this. So, Resfriado, where is the Amazon interview? Yeah, I think we're going to get rid of this. Make a OneNote for user pronunciations. Already done. Look at this. Look at all these pronunciations. In fact, is Yanni on here? No, I'm going to add Yanni. From their profile picture. Okay. Oh, it's one of the more solid implementations. Got it. Barcelona, but the job's in Dublin. Well, good luck. Definitely. Make sure to roll your R's. Linked this on React. What is this? Is your team ready to use React.js? So, actually, this tells me roughly when I wrote this note. This was probably in June of last year. Or May even. But no, I'm not gonna do this. Oh, it's Ski Dog? Why doesn't anyone correct me earlier on this stuff? Man, I was pronouncing one person's name wrong for like a month and a half. It's actually probably been that long for you too. Oh, God. Ski Dog. Yuck it. Oh man, I'm sorry, Ski Dog. Oh man. What happens if you search Ski Dog? Alright. We should just remember this dog. Or perhaps this one. Where are the roles? No, you're an exception. I refuse to pronounce your name correctly unless there's some incentive for it because it makes me self-conscious. Trello for GitHub issues. Oh man, Syntonic would love this site. Yeah, I'm not gonna look into this right now though. You're the first one to pronounce my nick correct. I say Exisic. So whatever I'm saying right now is apparently correct. Okay, there. Don't do this. Don't do this to me, Respiato. Alright. At some point with the Edit Blueprints UI, we'll want the drag targets for tier numbers to be in the same location regardless of which slots are filled. We also want to have a preview for how many slots something is going to take up. Yeah, this goes into a different to-do list. Goes into the polished to-do list, or Polish if you'd like to be a jerk about it. So script questions, selecting scripts. Yes, if you pick a script, it will select that script, not edit it. Don't place any stock in the links at the moment. I didn't make it past through the document. What? I think someone wrote a bug on this. And I think I said that I wasn't gonna fix it. Something about scripts. Oh, deleting shouldn't close the panel. Yeah, that I don't know if I agree with. But this, I have no idea how this would even get used. Is there a confirmation when you delete a script in the game right now? If I go edit this bot and I click delete, are you sure you want to delete this? Oh, that's not correct. It shouldn't ask if you want to delete it if there's nothing in it. Right? If it's brand new and there's nothing. Okay, that's another polished point, I think. If a script is brand new and there's no code in it, then deleting it should not confirm with you, since you're not going to lose anything. I guess you could lose your Control-Z buffer. Alright, trash can sounds good. Mini-game script update returns to page 21. Yeah. I should ask about this at some point. Let the roll begin. I don't see any notifications. Animating items between being added and removed to a list. Where's their example? Here it is. Yeah, I don't think this is that important. Alright. Resfriado. Thanks for resubbing. There's my terrible rolling. Oh, and Liquidor also resubbed at the exact same time. Welcome back for everybody. Nice. 2 resubs. Thanks. Thank you both. No, look, it says 3 months. Yeah. That is strange. It's not awful, trust me? Okay. Well, it feels awful. I think people who natively roll their R's do it in a much subtler way. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to use this. What's this? Get Chrome-style tabs on Window Explorer. Oh, EJ said he was going to use this, and then let me know what he thinks. And I think he said he didn't like it. And either way, I'm not particularly missing this functionality, so I just delete this. It doesn't matter. What's this clip? Is this a clip of me? If it's a clip of me, I can watch it right now. No, this is not. Okay, we probably can't watch that right now, based on whatever content that was. In fact, let's just remove this from the list. I'll put this on the post-stream list because I'm going to delete this today no matter what. When you edit an existing blueprint that doesn't have a script and you create a script, it currently gets assigned to the blueprint without you having to press update. This is expected. care about this. Oh, you've only been a sub for a week, right? Right. Huh. It's like how you feel when talking in English. Well, at least no one can tell when you're typing in English. Clover worked great, but on Windows 10 kind of buggy, huh? Have you tested Sentry yet? No, I get done with work and I'm like, I don't want to do anything that's very mentally taxing, so I just don't end up setting things like that up. It won't be that hard to just use it in the code. The harder part is to parameterize it. And the reason why that's harder is because I might have to go into Ansible's vault, and then that involves setting up my Linux machine and like all this other stuff. So yeah, I just never did it. What's the line goal? The line goal is just as low as possible. Oh, you have to talk at work? So consider this that Judge Bacon suggested. Instead of .foo, some styles here, more styles here. Why not this? That is probably much more reasonable. We should test this out. I never actually really bothered learning less. I'm just using it. All right. Using less. No, not that. Where's their... Wait, what? I thought this is why you'd use extend. When do you use a mix-in versus inheritance in less? Oh, I guess if you want to override it. This is considered by a lot of people a bad practice. Nesting is the bad part about less. Well, let's just delete this then. Thanks, guys. There's a time when I'm going to have to go change how I'm using my less right now, but it's not going to be for a while. Add as quote, anyone else get crazy settlements from Amazon today? Yeah, this is a very context-specific quote. 20 minutes into day 156. I'm not going to go research this stuff. If you guys want to see day 156 and figure out what I was talking about, there's a playlist for you. But otherwise, I'm deleting this. Hey, OJ, how's TODO going? Boring. At least we got this exciting picture. I know, Marco. Some way for us to contribute with the UI work, at least toward the goal of the design manual. I know this is a one-man project, just a random thought. Yeah, this is where I really do need to consider this more. Because, yeah, you guys can probably do this way better than I can. The problem is I'm just not sure how to let you guys do this. And so Syntonic offered to stream with me one day. Not that he lives near me or anything. But we just be on Skype or something. Jamrod says, why do you need less? I don't necessarily need less. I just needed something for CSS, and less makes, I think, a lot of sense. Less, SAS, really any of that. It doesn't matter too much. So I picked this, but I'm not really using any features from it. I'm using imports. I'm using some extends, and I'm using a variable in like 2 spots. And that's it. It's a problem since the code is shattered thanks to the React modules. I think you're talking about the class names, right? And hey, Digite. Yeah, the class names are currently mangled. But that would only let you fix styling. It wouldn't necessarily let you add your own code. Who linked the CSS guide here? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Could also have some legal implications with that, aka need to sign agreements. But would I? I think this is typically, for large corporations, I think it matters because someone else is seeing your code. But if I just say, oh, hey, here's access to my code. Oh, you mean maybe agreements not to share it or something? Yeah. That could be it. Okay. Oh, let's move on. Do you use this ever? Remote Redux DevTools. I'm pretty sure I started using this, right? Yeah, I did, and I really like this too. I think I should just write down that I use it because I think it's very helpful. So let's go write this down. Remote Redux DevTools reference. This is a great plugin for Chrome that lets you inspect your Redux state from any page. I should probably also see how I'm setting this up. There is, I looked for, I just looked for temp.js, which doesn't exist anymore. So combine reducers. There's some other place where I added middleware here. I just don't know where it is. Where would it be? Configure store. Here it is. Here's how I configure my store to use this. Done. Looks good. I'd consult legal for that just to be sure. Yeah, Liquidor, you're right about that. Oh, I think you're using Redux DevTools, not Remote Redux DevTools. What's the difference? Oh, server side. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so Redux DevTools. This is the reference. And the reference that I had was for the remote version of this. How did this get over here? Note if you, I'll put this down here. If you want a remote version of this for checking state of Redux on your server, use this. Okay. No. All right. Consider allowing people to buy multiple lunch BRB at the same time. This has been going on forever. So let's just do this now because I'm sick of having to do this. See, these are the things where I say it's about time. I just finally handle them. So let's close out of these and this. So we need to load up PhantomBot, script, Findstir, lunch BRB. Gotcha. So all you have to do is type lunch BRB and then it sends a message. But now we're going to have to get the arguments of this. We're going to have to modify all of my bots too. So let's have this print out. I don't want to, let me just disable this whole thing for right now. Okay, so console line args plus args. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to whisper it hello world, and it says java.lang.string. Wow. So how do we ever process args anywhere else? Oh, here we go. args.length. Yeah. So var num times to add equals 1. If args.length is, what is args.length? Do you mean multiple so you get more names on the screen, or multiple like 2 to 3 or more breaks with just one by? The latter. All right, so let's see. args.length is 2. Yeah, okay, good. So we need, if args.length is greater than 0, then we'll take the first one to be a number. So we need to parse int on it. Where is that? Here. Yeah, and we really should specify a radix for that. So num times to add equals parse int args 0, comma 10. Then parse int, the way that it works is if you pass in something that's not a number, it returns not a number. But if you pass in something like -1, it'll allow it to be negative. So let's do this. Math.max, not a number, in 5. What does it return? Not a number. Why is it a Java string? Isn't that a JS file? Yeah, so PhantomBot is written in Java, and they run JavaScript from their Java, and they expose certain things from Java there. So this is why this is just a big nightmare to work with most of the time. So if num times to add, how do you check to see if something is not a number? Apparently not a number is not equal to not a number. What? How do you do this? I'll just look at their source code because I really don't know how to do this. Is number and value is not equal to plus value? True. There's really no better way to do this. Oh, there's an is and and function? Oh, yeah. Got it. Nano. I can't type. There we go. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so if is not a number, num times to add, then tell them. Actually, no, if it's not a number, just use 1. Who cares? And then num times to add equals math.max 0 num times to add. Actually, num 1. Okay, so this is just some basic validation. Then once we know how many times you want to add it, we can print that out. So you want to get num times to add lunch BRBs. All right, so let's go try this out. So I'm going to whisper it some things. We're going to whisper it the number. We're going to whisper it no number. Uh-oh. Why did this not use my updated text? Does that mean there's a JavaScript problem here? Online JavaScript linter. Results. What? What are the results? I wanted to see. Use double quotes, not single quotes. Use double quotes. Expected this to match. Aha! I forgot a plus sign. Yeah. Yep. Cool. So now we try that again. So I'm going to whisper it with no argument, and it says you want to get 1. I'm going to whisper it with an invalid argument, and it's going to say you want to get 1. I'm going to whisper it with the number 5. Yeah, cool. Okay. So as far as points total is going to be, so let's say point cost is num times to add times lunch cost. New point total is minus point cost. So if points is greater than point cost, then this. Otherwise, say you need point cost points, but only have points. You need to be a better follower. Sounds good. Username spent point cost. New point total is new point total. Cool. There is a problem in that we never. Yeah, here we do. Okay. So now instead of just sender, we need plus space plus num times to add. Okay, so before we save this file, because this will allow you guys to shoot yourselves in the foot. Before we save this, we're gonna need to modify the other bot. Plural for the OK string, maybe. Not sure, it's out of string. I just said you will now show up in the next X BRB lunch screens. Oh, whoops, that's the whisper. Oh yeah, there's this one too. They will show up in the next plus num times add BRB lunch screens. There we go. Okay, so before we save this, actually let's just save it. If you guys end up using this command right now, you're just gonna waste points, so don't do it. Let's go modify this bot now. What is the command called? Lunch BRB. This will take a long time to find because it's searching through node modules. And this is why we don't do this at all, huh? So let's just go into... Wait, this isn't even the right bot, is it? Pokemon www. Okay, well this is where we start to do this. Start chatbot. Yeah, it's token interface. And there it is, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Lunch BRB. Got it. Command user equals split message 1. Num times 2 add equals parse in split message 2 comma 10. Add user to lunch BRB. Num times to add. Cool. Where's userless? Got it. Where's this function? Num times to add. Do we have low dash? Yes, we do. So now we just do times num times to add, and then a function that pushes them to this list that many times. Great. May I suggest to donate a light token by light's name, or Chad doesn't want this? Yeah, just gifting points to other people I think is fine. Although they can choose what to spend the points on, but I'm probably not going to do that. That hasn't been a widely requested thing. This one has been. Didn't you have less than 1 week ago the same issue when you wanted to avoid searching node modules? Maybe you should make an alias for auto ignoring. Problem is I don't know how to do that. On Windows, I'm pretty sure you have to search everything and then you just narrow down your results. I guess I could use grep probably, but yeah, fine. Fine, Hideo. You've convinced me. So write an alias using grep that searches all non-node modules JS files. Well, and JSON, JS/JSON/ what else would be in there? Really just anything. I'll just write files. Grepping on Windows. Alright, well, we should be done with this. The only thing we really need to verify is that this is a number. Doesn't something eventually whisper back to us? It doesn't. Huh. Yeah, so I guess we'll need to do this. If not is integer. Just checked, indeed you're right, it's not grep at all. Well, I've been using find string, but yeah. What's the console program you're using to run all the screens with? I'm using Kanimu Senether. So this will add your name X times to the same lunch BRB or every day for the next X. It's the latter, every day for the next X. And we can test it out now, so let's go try this. So I will restart this. Hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. So start chatbot. That's not how you even do this. Home start chatbot. There we go. And now we save that file. Okay, cool. So let's try it out. Here's the lunch screen. I don't suggest you guys test this out right now, but if I type BRB lunch 5, Hey, cool, it added me 5 times. And I spent 125 points. So now let's say BRB lunch 10. And now I should be on this 15 times. Perfect, it worked. And let's make sure that my points got deducted and it's not just saying it did. Yeah, it did. Okay, cool, it's working. Souvenir. It does check to make sure you have enough points. And yeah, Darkstorm, anything it doesn't recognize will count as 1. So just keep that in mind. Does it check how many points you have? Yeah. Bala and Vai, you need 338,000 points. In case anyone's curious about who has the most points, here you go. Let's take a quick look. The person with the most points is Tembroya with 10,346. Wow. Yeah, negative numbers don't work. You can't gain money. I mean, you guys saw me code this, right? I put a math.max in here. So this is what's going to make sure that no matter what you typed, it turns into a number. And if it's not a number, then it'll turn into the number 1. And this is what's going to make sure that it's positive. And then this is what's going to make sure that you have enough points to do it. And you know what? I could just add something else in here too, as long as I'm at it. Num times to add equals math.min. Let's say you can't get more than 100 or 10,000. There. Hey, K-Pax. Anyone heard of black screen? How is this different from Hyper? Yeah, I haven't heard of it though. Best Adam stream ever. Well, you guys are spending a bunch of points. So cool, this is finally done. That actually didn't take very long either. I guess one of the last things we need to do though is go check in what I did over here. Ode, process, lunch BRB. I'm not going to check it in with, well, it doesn't really matter. Main.js changed, good. This, yeah, sure. Port 80 due to new web host. What else? Allow users to specify num times in BRB launch. How many lines are we down to? 1,291. And what do we start at today? 1,477. So we have gotten rid of 186 lines in 2 hours and 14 minutes. So it took 134 minutes to get rid of 186 lines. That is 1.4 lines per minute. Oh. Maybe let's get that number up to 200 and then that's it. I don't know. I can't stand doing this for hours on end. What's the purple dot on the first line? Purple dot on what? Was it when I was committing? Yeah, I'm not sure what purple dot you were talking about. All right. So what's next? Bother to see a nice vintage city landscape. Why is this stuff on my to-do list? Okay, cool. So now we've seen a vintage city landscape. And now we can delete it. Adam hears someone in line behind him grumbling about having a bad job. Adam spins around, beaming his radiance upon the man. Look on the bright side, friend. I have LED. Many to the bright side. Oh, I have led many to the bright side. Come forth and rejoice. Oh, silly. Alright, well, I have a section in my notes for this. Quotes that I haven't made into quotes yet. In fact, if you want to take a look at this, here are some of the quotes I haven't made into quotes yet. I just noticed the cap on your desk. Sperman said, just noticed Adam Troll in your chair. We should just turn these into quotes now. I might as well, right? Yeah, let's do it. Also, I'm adding my own quote. I very rarely add my own, but there. That was from 118.17. Alright, let's add all of these. Oh, that purple dot is Twitch. Right. Yeah. And thank you, Ski Dog. This has happened to a bunch of people. This is one of their annotations that they have, basically saying, hey, do you want to dismiss this? Had I seen the picture, which I hadn't looked at, I would have been able to tell you that myself. Okay, so the way that I add quotes for the longer ones is to upload them to share with others. So if you guys are curious to see all the ones that are there right now, you can just go to this directory and you can read through them if you want. I think they're usually pretty great. But the shorter ones we can just add directly. So let's keep that web page open. Okay, so that's done. Oops. All right, so let's save this. Desktop quotes. So let's delete all of these. I apparently can't do that very easily. So we'll do it this way. Alright, so this is Daniel and Perry. Server signature off? What? Oh. I don't really care about that. Okay. EJ Hideo. Let's just get rid of the timestamps on here. There. Do EJ and Hideo already have one between the two of them? No. Cool. Bugsy have one? Nope. No idea what the context on this is. Can we have a nice place for this image? Sure. Spurman has a bunch of quotes on here, right? Spurman quote number 3. This this is just ridiculous. I'll paste this in the chat so you guys can see it now. Finally, I made it. I got lost on my way here. Then he posted in this image. I don't know how this happened. It's just so serene. Alright. Yeah, antimatter tape. Quote 16 is broken? Is it? Oh, the Shah has been requested to be removed. I don't know. Oh, man. I don't know how this happened. When it says requested to be removed, this is happening on a bunch of different odd shots that I had. I'm actually kind of surprised Oddshot is still around, given that Twitch has clips now. Is there something on Reddit about this where people have been complaining? What? Yeah, there's no way to recover that information, though? Man, everybody really liked that. Now it's gone. Well, in the meantime, I guess you have this. This wasn't removed, was it? There's the video. Yeah, okay. Man, that's too bad. Alright, this is Pawn's quote. They're just closing and have only one error message. Yeah. It's funny how Twitch can just shut down a site like that, basically, by just incorporating the functionality themselves. Why do I all of a sudden have 140 viewers? I'm doing like the most boring thing, by the way, to any new viewers. I'm normally working on a game. Today I'm just working through my to-do list. So part of my to-do list was adding quotes to my bot. Okay, so now we need to upload all those quotes files. Desktop quotes. We do all of these. Oops, I gotta actually connect to my server first. There we go. Okay, so here's how we'll do this to make this even easier. Check this out. We'll do cd/d over to here, dir/b to the clipboard. Then we get all the quotes. We prepend http bot.land/share with others/quotes. Now all of these URLs should resolve. And now we just add quotes to all of these. Cool. And we can do this too. /w botland bot before all of this. And that way you guys don't have to be spammed at all. Hi, Brian. So added new quote. Added new quote. Well, I guess you're still seeing spam, huh? Well, thanks, Prowling. Alright, and that removes one thing from the to-do list, huh? Yeah. Did all those new quotes make it online? They probably did. Yeah. Pawn, Superman 3. Yeah, okay, cool. 88 Spark. I'm using TortoiseGit. And yeah, I like TortoiseGit. I think it's pretty nice. Does all the things I want it to do. Guys, I'm famous. There are a bunch of quotes there. Yeah, if you want to see all of the quotes, unfortunately, the only way for me to do that is for me to just send you a copy of the database. So I can upload this whole thing if you want. It's not going to be very easy to read. but here are all of them. Like I said, not easy to read. Okay, so add these people back to the token owed list. Let's find out when these people were last in chat. Last seen. Actually, let's do this too. All right, so this person was last seen June 29th, 2016. This person, February 2nd. So this person actually does show up to chat still. We'll add them back to the list. This person, no. This person, yes. This person, no. July 5th last year. Polymark, February 6th. Oh, wow. Polymark still comes to the stream. Okay, let's add them. So these are people who should have gotten light tokens and didn't. This person was June 29th, and this person was October 24th. Yeah, so we'll add these two people, and I'll do this after the stream, because it's not going to take effect anyway. For those of you wondering what that's all about, it's the same thing as this giveaway. Add Adam Pride as an emote. It's beautiful. I think I'll just save this for later. Do you need math for programming? All right, how new is your account? 2 years old. Then I'll answer your question. In general, no. So programming is very logic based, and in that sense, yes. But in terms of do I need to know calculus or how to optimize math problems or anything like that, your day-to-day programming, you won't need that. There are certainly domains where you will. But even in game programming, where it used to be all about like vectors and quaternions, and now the game engine is going to do most of that for you. And what you'll probably do is say, how do I rotate this by 20 degrees? And you'll look up something on Stack Overflow and you'll find out the answer. So in general, no, you don't really need to know a whole lot. Now, if you're coding your own game engine, yes, oh totally. You're going to need to expose all that stuff. So unless you're using someone else's library, then yeah. And that's why I say it's still domain based. So when's the new art coming in? Don't care. When you're in a game, there's a left bar. You can show blueprints. The way this is mocked up is a scrollable panel. Yeah, I'm going to just save this here for now. What is this? Can I watch this? We need to mute this. This accessory turns your smartphone into a working Game Boy. Okay, I don't care. I can tell what it does. It just presses buttons on the screen, and the buttons have to align with whatever your emulator has. And no problem, Bonku. Why do you use Git in a GUI? I just think it's faster sometimes. I could just learn the commands, but whenever I'm zipping through these things, I've got a bunch of shortcuts on my mouse that'll make this easier, and so there, I can go through all the files and be done and not really have to move my hands from wherever they are. Okay, yeah, like I said, we're going to save this for next time. Please set your post CSS auto prefixer to not include all those flex settings. Last 2 versions. Did I do this already? Last 2. Oh, nice. Cool. Done. I feel like every time I come here, I just bother you with configuration changes, but have you thought about adding React Hot Loader so your page will update dynamically? Didn't I try to do this the other day and it went horribly? I'm pretty sure I did. This is the hot module reload thing. Not maintained. Please see this. I'm pretty sure I tried this. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that easy. Try browser stack /start and use the iPad thing. It's all browser stack plugin to access from the cloud iPad, your local host. Is this free? Yeah, I tried that a week ago. Pricing. Whoa. What? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. Yeah, they have iOS though. It's nice to have these devices, but yeah, it's not cheap to do this. Really, $30 a month. This is the kind of thing I should look at if Botland is actually making money. Can't really do that. 100 minutes of live per month. Free for open source. Yeah. What is that? Yeah, this is a way for you to remote into iPads and Android devices. Can't use that. Alright. If you don't have a Mac to debug on Safari, you can also use jsconsole.com if you want. You type listen and it'll give you a script to inject, which will start a remote debug session on your device. Alright, let's take a look at what this is. I'll have to come back to this at some point. Looks like Botland is going open source. I don't even think I have any notes on this. I think the next time I get to this, I'll leave this on my to-do list for now. So these are the things that next Thursday I'm just going to tackle. Oh well. Alright, I highly recommend getting an Android emulator. Alright, we'll just make a section here on mobile debugging. So this, read this, Chrome DevTools, tips and tricks. Yeah, I'll read through this later. So I'm adding things to a notepad file that I'm going to take care of after this. I can remote control your iPad Pro if you want. I go straight to your banking app and I make a deposit in my own account. Thanks, Jupiter. Yeah, this is another one of those research things. I think we've pretty much gotten to the extent that... What was this? Make sure AWS got my new billing information. It was like a year ago, right? Yeah, well, let's get some stats. So I'm at 1263, and we started today at 1477. So that's 214 lines that I got rid of. It's almost Valentine's Day. And how long was I doing this for? 2 hours, 33 minutes. So that's 153 minutes. So my end stats are 1.4 lines per minute. Oh, is that why someone said LPM earlier? LPM is really slacking today. Yeah, that's what Pawn said. Yeah, this is actually probably better than what the average will be eventually. So as of last week, this to-do list was at 1,666 lines. And I got it down to something. Then it went back up to 1477. And then as of the end of today, it's down to 1263. So at this burn down rate, if we do the number of lines divided by 1.4, it'll take us 902 minutes, which is 15 hours remaining. Hey, MegaCan. Yeah, so 15 hours left until my to-do list is down to 0 lines. Easy, right? All right, well, thank you all for watching today. Tomorrow will be a real stream, and then I'll be working on Botland. The game will be online. You guys can play it. I am going to leave you guys with Ratsma, who is streaming Hearthstone, and who I would normally watch at lunchtime probably. So yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for the resubs. Thanks for sticking with me on another boring day of Man vs. To Do. So yeah, take care. See you tomorrow.